Good morning, dear students. I am Dr. Savita Tilme, and we are studying the subject economic zoology. And in the previous lecture, we have completed the model animals chapter, model animals, use of model animals in pharmaceutical industry. So, in that chapter, we have studied what is the concept of a model animal, which animals can be used for the research as in model animals, as well as the legislations or rules and regulation put forth regarding the use of model animals. So like that, a huge information we have undertaken. We have studied even the different types of animals like rat, maybe the mouse, that is transgenic mouse, Drosophila, even some nematodes, protozoans, like that. So different types of animals which can be used as a model animals for studying some pathways, as well as for studying the effect of particular drug on a target organism, like that. So number of different model animals we studied in the previous chapter, right? And now in today's chapter we'll be studying the prawn culture, the detailed methodology of prawn culture. Let's see. Okay, let's have a brief introduction about freshwater prawns. Now the freshwater prawns, namely Macrobranchium malcolmsoni and Macrobranchium rosenbergi. Yes, both the varieties, that is both the species, belongs to the genus Macrobranchium. So Macrobranchium can be, or it is well cultured in freshwater ecosystem, freshwater habitat, and both the species, that is Macrobranchium malcolmsoni and Macrobranchium rosenbergi, they are grown well in a freshwater ecosystem. So these two species, that is Macrobranchium malcolmsoni and Macrobranchium rosenbergi, are the latest fast growing prawn occurs commonly in Indian river, right? So they are what? Latest and fast growing prawns occurs in Indian freshwater bodies such as river, and they, after the river, they drain down into Bay of Bengal. So it means these prawns they found in the river, as well as some of them they drain down into the Bay of Bengal. So they observe there also. They are cultivated under monoculture as well as polyculture. Means in an ecosystem or in an water body, single culture of the prawns, that is Macrobranchium, can be undertaken. It also grown well into such a monoculture, as well as a polyculture, that is it can be cultured along with the other freshwater carps, right, other freshwater fishes. So it can be cultured along with the other freshwater fishes, called as a polyculture. So under monoculture system, let's see what is the rate of production per year or per month. So in the monoculture system, 750 kg to 1500 kgs prawn per hectare per 8 month are achieved. So this is what the productivity. Here is the output. When you rear the freshwater prawns for about 8 months, right, and in a monoculture system, 750 to 1500 kgs of the freshwater prawn can be retrieved from such a 1 hectare area, 1 hectare pond. Okay, and it is compatible species. It is most suitable species to culture in a polyculture way, along with the major Indian carps, even Chinese carps, and which may yield in a polyculture. The amount of a prawn is like 400 kgs of the prawn can be collected from polyculture, along with the 3000 kgs of the carp per hectare per year. So in a monoculture, if you want to get more amount of prawn, so you can go for the monoculture, or if you want to go for the polyculture along with the other Indian carps or other fishes, so we'll get less amount of the prawns, that is 400 kgs of prawn on an average, along with the 3000 kgs of the fishes, means carps. So one can go accordingly for the monoculture or for the polyculture. So technologies of the large scale seed production and grown out culture have led to an increased awareness of the farmers and entrepreneurs for diversification of their culture practices. Nowadays there is a wide variety of technologies available. With the help of that, one can go for this polyculture or monoculture, even modified methods, modified tank system, even string tank system or rectangular tank system. Number of things are there, number of modifications are there. So along with that, the one can go for such a kind of a modification or advanced techniques. Now here is the prawn. Here is your prawns, right? How they look? They look good, yummy, right? So here is the morphological features shown by the prawn. So here whatever a small tail like structure is there, this one, that is called as a telson, and uropods, last abdominal appendage, that is said to be uropods. Here there are the pleopods, means a swimming legs, right? Even here peripods are there, thoracic legs are there, abdominal legs are there, even antennae, right? Eyes, then carapace, a big carapace is there. Here you can see the abdomen starting from this point, right? So overall morphology is this. Now this is what a tank, artificial tank prepared for rearing of the prawns. So here you can see a tank, water inlet system is there. Here is something which is going to bubble out from the base of the tank so that the water is kept aerated continuously. And here there is one more tank, there again one more tank. So such a parallel tanks are constructed by a farmer so as to get more output, so as to get more amount of yield from such a tank is quite possible. Okay. Okay, now let's see the brood management. How the brood management is there? Brood stock management. Brood stock basically what? The young ones which are at the breeding stage. Okay, young ones which are at the breeding stage. Brood stock management, brood stock and the bedded females, that is fertile females along with the eggs. Or you can say, yes, egg bearing females. So broodstock and bedded females are essential component for a continuous operation for seed production. Yes, the what we can say, mature individuals, means the breeding stage individuals, they are important to maintain this pond in a continuous healthy position. If the brood is not there, if the mature individual are not there or bedded females are not there, then what will going to continue the generation? So as to keep the system continuously operating for the seed production, brood stock and the bedded females must be there. So the gonadal maturation of the species different greatly in a nature depending on the agroclimatic conditions. In the Ganga river, because in different areas with the different environmental conditions, the variation in the brood stock, or you can say gonadal maturation, is being observed. Hence the statement is made, the gonadal maturation of the species differ greatly in nature depending on the agroclimatic conditions. So in the Ganga, the Hogli and Mahanadi rivers, the maturation and breeding start from, see the month, maturation and breeding start from May and continue till the end of October. So this is what the brooding period, or you can say the maturation and egg laying, that is spawning period, right? Whereas in the river, see the name of river is going to change here, Godavari, Krishna and Karve system. It commences from April and it has continued till November. Here from May to October, here it is from April to November. So according to the physiology, or you can say according to environmental influence, the physiology of the prawns respond slightly differently towards the ecosystem. Under pond conditions, sexual maturity generally occurs after attaining a maximum size of 60 to 70 mm. So when the culture is reared, culture is maintained in the pond, and when the prawn becomes 60 to 70 mm, that is 6 to 7 centimeter in length, okay, 6 to 7 centimeter in length, it becomes sexually mature. Buried females are recorded year around in most of the ponds, and the ratio of the buried female in the total population is found to be higher during August-September, right? So during August-September, the ratio of the buried female is more, and during this period, they carries a good quality of eggs, right? So these buried females, that is female with the egg, female bearing eggs, and they carries good quality of eggs, that is 8,000 to 80,000 of eggs they may carry along with them, right, during the August to September period. So the prawns breed 3 to 4 times in a season, and successfully community breeding and year-round seed production under captive conditions is possible by employing airlift biofilter recirculatory system. So this here you can see slightly this airlift biofilter recirculatory system. It has been present here also. You can see here also it is there. So something is biofilter, some kind of a biofilter is there which is operated in this pond, that going to bring the uplifting of the water, as well as that going to help in saturation of air, that is aeration of the pond water, and that is again helpful for maintaining a healthy ecosystem. And if a water is healthy, that is the productivity of the pond will be increased, means a small microorganisms, or you can say microorganisms, maybe microplant that is phytoplankton, maybe zooplankton, they will increase in the number. Ultimately the prawns which are feeding on such a zooplankton will also increase in a number. So this airlifting biofilter, that is recirculatory system, is being implemented into a pond for maintaining healthy environment of the pond. Let's say the spawning and larval rearing. Now what we have studied, or what we have saw, we just saw the broodstock and buried female, how the broodstock, what is the meaning of the broodstock, how they become mature, or at what size they become mature, right? So right now what we are going to study, spawning and larval rearing. So mating takes place immediately after pre-mating molt. Pre-mating molt means a last larval instar, we can say, and immediately when the last larval instar is just passed off, the mating takes place, and mature female and spawning occurs few hours after mating, right? So when the mating takes place, so spawning is what? Egg laying. So after mating, after few hours of the mating, immediately the female, they start laying eggs. And again, the incubation period of the egg is going to vary according to the difference in the environmental conditions. Just like the incubation period of eggs lasts between 10 to 15 days, depending on the water temperature, that is 28 to 30 degrees Celsius. If this is remain constant, that is water temperature normally 28 to 30 degrees Celsius, if this remain constant, then what? The eggs can mature within 10 to 15 days. But if the water temperature lowers than this normal, that is 28 to 30, and it goes prolonged than more than 21 days, right? Suppose temperature drops down from 25, and such a situation is obviously last during the winter season. And if the drop down temperature lasts for it lasts for long period, then the larval incubation period also prolongs up to 21 days. Here normally it is 10 to 15 days, but because of the low temperature, it may prolong up to 21 days of the incubation. right? So hatching of July developed first zoea, right? Hatching of the fully developed first zoea takes place through the body stretching of the zoea, which breaks the eggshell and comes out from the egg and starts swimming as a plankton. This is what the normal process of coming out of the eggs by the zoea larva, right? Obviously, any animal present inside the shell that going to stretch its body, it's going to break the shell and come out of the shell, right? So different larval rearing techniques are there. Semi-closed, with or without circulatory system of the larval rearing of a prawn species under hatchery conditions have been developed with the varying degrees of success, right? Varieties of different techniques of rearing are there. With larvae can be reared by using various methods, and these methods again shows their that is semi-closed method, closed method, with or without circulatory system, that is airlifting circulatory system, which we have shown in previous slide, right? So without or with such a circulatory system, but all the rearing techniques, they have their success at a varying degree, right? We cannot say all the techniques will give you the same output. No, the output is slightly changed. So the green water technique has been claimed to increase the post-larval production by 10 to 20% over other techniques and provide a quality seed. But higher mortalities are generally encountered due to rise in pH and uncontrolled algal blooms. Though the green water system that going to give rise the 10 to 20% more yield, but if the algal blooms, because green water is said to be overproduction of the algae or the phytoplankton inside the water, that going to change the color of water towards the green, right? Because of the over greenery in the water, that is algal blooms, that also release or that also causes some mortality, right? Because of the rise in pH. So further increase in number of, hence the water qualities need to be maintained. Further increase in a number of adult due to abundance of a feed in the green water, right? If the greenery is more, that means phytoplanktons are more, on which zooplanktons will feed, and zooplanktons on which the prawns will going to feed. So ultimately, because of the green water, the number of adult will going to increase, right? And that contributes to accumulation of ammonia in the culture media, because whatever excretory material is there, that is ammonia in the form of ammonia, and that is released outside of their body, which get accumulated into culture media, right? That also going to alter the pH of a water. Hence the water need to be replaced after few days. The production of a post-larvae in a large number is possible following airlift biofilter recreation system. What is the airlift biofilter recreation system? That we already studied. So the larvae passed through 11 zoea stages, means there are 11. Zoea is what? Zoea is nothing but the name given to the larva of a prawn or a shrimp, right? So that larva, there are such a 11 larval instars before attending the post-larval instar, or you can say last larval instar. There are such a 11 zoea stages, and within a period of 39 to 60 days, that is near about 2 months, at the salinity and temperature ranging between, now the salinity 18 to 20% salinity and temperature 28 to 31 degrees Celsius, with the production density of 10 to 20 post-larval instar per liter. You can see the number is very, very high, 10 to 20 larvae per liter. That is very high number. Okay, let's see the life cycle in a short, right? So whatever adult is there, that adult is going to lay the eggs, and eggs after an incubation period of 10 to 15 days at a temperature 28 to 31 degrees Celsius. If the temperature drop down than this, the incubation period will last for about 21 days. So the eggs that will hatch out into a small larva, zoea larva, or it is called as nucleus. Nucleus is a generalized term used to indicate the larva of a crustacea. All the crustacea, they show such a kind of a larvae, or their larvae is commonly called as a zoea, nucleus. Okay, so but the larva which is coming out of the egg, that is also called as a zoea larva. Specifically it is called as a zoea larva. Now there are number of, that is 11 such a developmental stages of that zoea larva or nucleus larva, and then it become mysis, that is a post larval instar. Post larval means post nucleus instar. So this mysis is then give rise to the post larval stage, and then from the post larval stage a mature or adult larvae is formed, but this process is again taking near about 7 to 8 months. Okay, so this is again a time consuming procedure. Let's see what are the requirements for requirements which need to be provided in the tank so that the productivity will be good. Now the biofilter equipped with airlift recirculation has shown promising result in maintaining a favorable water quality in different rearing media with enhanced rate of post larval production. Yes, obviously we have already studied that the biofilter equipped with the airlift recreation, that what is the role of it? Its role is in keeping water healthy, maintaining the pH as well as oxygen level of the water good, right? So it is important for the healthy growth of the phytoplankton, zooplanktons, ultimately the prawns. So the water quality parameters generally influence the growth, survival and metamorphosis of the developing larva. Yes, obviously if the water quality parameters, if the temperature is beyond the normal level, then what happened? The growth will be hampered, growth will be prolonged. Survival is again become in danger, and ultimately there will be prolonged metamorphosis, right? Hence all the parameters that need to be maintained optimum at the optimum level for getting better survival result, right? Here is the table showing all these parameters, required parameters and their range. Normal range: temperature 28 to 30 degrees Celsius, pH 7.8 to 8.2, that is alkaline pH is required for the growth of prawns. Oxygen, dissolved oxygen 4.4 to 5.2, it is quite high, right? So normally our drink, yes, this 4.4 to 5.2 is quite high oxygen saturation. This need to be maintained, and it is maintained with the help of this biofilter equipped with the airlift recirculation. It helps to recirculate water, dissolve oxygen into the water. So total hardness is again 3000 to 4500 ppm, quite high. Total alkalinity 80 to 150 ppm, salinity 18 to 20%, and ammoniacal nitrogen 0.02 to 0.12 ppm. So these are the parameters and their normal ranges useful for the maintaining healthy culture of the prawns in an artificial captive area. Now larval feed, on what component the larvae used to feed is again need to know. Now various feed items such as nucleus, zooplankton, especially cladocera. Nucleus is what? Nucleus is nothing but a crustacean larva, any kind of a crustacean larva. So nucleus, zooplankton, especially cladocera, copepoda, these are again the zooplanktons, means microscopic living animals which are present in the water. Copepods, rotifers, flesh of the prawn, even fish, even molluscan meat, earthworms, tubifacid worms, that is tubifex, Egg clusters and cut pieces of the goat, hen, viscera are used during the larval rearing. So these all things are forming the feed for the larva. And among these, Artemia nauplius, a specific type of nauplius larva, Artemia nauplius, have been recognized as an excellent larval feed for the prawn larvae. So at the beginning, freshly hatched Artemia naupli are provided to the first stage zoea larva. Now you may get confused that we are saying zoea, we are saying nauplius, and here in the image here said nauplius, and what we are saying now, we are saying that number of such nauplius larvae are provided to the zoea. Zoea larva is a specific name given to this larvae of the prawns. Okay? And nauplius is a generalized terminology used to indicate larvae of all crustacean, including prawn. So that's why. Okay, so it is serving as a better food for the first star zoea larva. That is at the age that is zoea larva having 1 gram a size or weight, provided 30,000 larvae twice daily up to 15 days or till they attains a stage 4. So huge amount of this Artemia larvae are required as a feed for the zoea larva. So thereafter the feed is given once daily along with the egg cluster and missile meat, that is you can say crushed molluscan meat, tubifacid worms 4 times daily. It depends absolutely on the size of your pond, on the number of brood present inside the prawn and expected outcome of the prawn. The amount of feed is going to vary, right? Now let's see how the harvesting can be takes place. Harvesting can be takes place in various ways. Let's see which are they. Harvesting of the post larvae of the prawn is rather difficult due to their crawling habit, because you cannot harvest them with the help of a sweeping net, or you can say simply a small net. It immediately, as soon as you swipe off the water, it immediately crawl on it and get rid of your capture area or captivity. So therefore, both the turn down and drain siphoning of the water are commonly used for harvesting. What happened? Whatever, say here there is a big pond and turn down the pond. You need to place a net completely on the outlet of the pond and then drain pond completely from the lower outlet, or you can say siphoning, drain down siphoning outlet, so that along with the going out water, whatever prawns they are present into that area, into that pond, will get captured over here. But again, this method, that is drain down complete pond, is again difficult and not useful at all. Why? Because this method has some drawbacks, because in a pond various means different developmental stages of prawns may be present, right? Egg bearing females are there, broods may be present, or you can say larvae may be present, or other useful organisms, that is microplanktons, they are also present, right? So if you drain down the pond, you will get all the members here, means adult, young ones, females, brood, everything you will capture and you will sold them into the market. So your business, your culture is now coming trouble. So rather doing such a thing, a string system, string harvesting or string shell is nowadays implemented. And what happened into that string shells? So different strings or small ponds have been constructed, right? Small ponds have been constructed, and in each pond similar ages of the females or similar aged brood have been loaded. So here I will suppose release or culture the brood of the similar kind of age. So ultimately they will start egg laying on the same time, because they will get a similar environment, temperature, pH, salinity, alkalinity, everything, right? So all of them on an average will start egg laying on the same day or nearby the same days, and the larvae will also hatch nearby the same time, and their growth, that is all of them, will slowly become mature nearby the same time. So draining down this pond, right, a single pond, I will not going to lose much more. Whatever larvae will be there, whatever young ones or capturing stages are there, harvesting stages are there, they all will be in the same stage, and so there will be a less loss to the pond, culture pond, because here one developmental stage I have added here in the pond, another stage, that is another batch I have added here, another batch I have added here, another batch I have added, right, like that. So many string systems I can maintain simultaneously and get more earning. Now one may ask a question that if we capture all the post larval instars or post larvae from these ponds, then what about the next culture? How you will get the brood, how you will get the mature females? Yes, I can keep one of the pond as an what? Culture pond. I can maintain it as an stock culture, so that in that pond all the members, that is all the post larvae, they will become mature and becomes a brood stock and buried female, and so that then after, if this all remaining ponds, they are empty, they are already harvested and they are clean, so I will fill them completely. And what I'll do, if I have maintained the brood stock here or buried female here, so I will transfer few of them, right? I will transfer some to this pond, some to this pond, some to this, and simultaneously again the second batch in all the stages I will run smoothly. So like this one can maintain the brood, as well as one can get more earning from such a business. Now disease control, you might have heard about some diseases. Prawns, they also suffer from some diseases, right? So several diseases of bacterial origin or fungal origin also been observed amongst the ponds, among the prawns, if the proper conditions, environmental conditions are not maintained, overcrowding if it is there, ammonia if it is excessively accumulated, or over algal blooms have been developed into the water, or if there is a no aeration. So ultimately all such a conditions, environmental conditions, lead to development of fungi and bacteria or some viruses into the pond. Ultimately your culture will suffer from the diseases. Now how I can get rid of all such a diseases, right? See, some hatcheries use formalin at the rate of 200 ppm daily as an effective remedy for protozoans. Some protozoans are also there which causes disease into the prawns. So formalin at the rate of 200 ppm parts per million daily is been introduced into the what we can say culture, so that you will get rid of the protozoan and hydrozoan parasite, as well as fungal diseases are also being covered with the help of a formalin. Even formalin can also be used at a lower level of about 30 ppm for longer period regularly. If you find that your pond is quite healthy, there is no such a kind of a diseases, but still if you want to prevent diseases to be occurred in the future, you can have some precautionary measures, and for such a precautionary measures you can use this formalin, but at the rate of 30 ppm, 30 parts per million for longer period of time, that is continuously you can keep on adding. But water should be changed, water should be replaced with the fresh water, otherwise formalin will get accumulated excessively and that becomes toxic to the prawns, right? So water need to be changed after 24 hours. So this larvae can also be transferred to disinfecting tanks every 5 to 10 days to get rid of the diseases and parasites, right? So the larvae which are there in the culture vessel, culture media, culture pond, they need to be transferred to the disinfectant vessel, or you can say disinfectant container. How long? For about a few minutes, maybe for 10 minutes, 20 or 30 minutes, and this procedure should be repeated after 5 to 10 days. So daily dip of larvae in malachite green, that is 0.2 ppm for about 30 minutes, has also been used for the treatment. Even also dipping into the copper sulfate, again the concentration is very low, 0.4 ppm solution for 6 hours is again recommended to maintain the larvae, that is to maintain the prawns in a healthy condition. These things are recommended. Sometimes antibiotics and sulfur drugs are also used to control the filamentous bacteria, and some hatcheries also uses lime, that is calcium oxide, as a prophylactic measure. Right. So dear students, there are certain prophylactic measures suggested, or there are certain medicines, or rather medicines, we can say chemicals available in the market like formalin, malachite green, copper sulfate, or some sulfur drugs, or lime, like the chemicals which are there in the market, available in the market, and we can use them to control the diseases, bacterial, viral, or you can say any other type of diseases which are supposed to be occur into the prawn culture, and you can maintain a prawn culture in a healthy condition. Ultimately you will get more output and more profit.